Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of AutoAudiography. This week we will be taking a look at the first album that got me into metal, and that is Cowboys From Hell by Pantera. Okay, Cowboys From Hell, done by the band Pantera. I believe it came out in 1990, at which point I was 8 years old. Also did not listen to this when I was 8 years old. Probably 11-ish, maybe a little older. I can't imagine too much older. Now, the way I got a hold of this album was from a friend who lived 2 houses down from me. His name is Seth, and we tragically lost touch when his family moved. But he has made a lasting impression on my life. This was not the first Pantera CD I ever listened to. The actual first one that I ever listened to was the Great Southern Trendkill. Seth lent it to me, and I tried to listen to it. It still is not one of my favorite albums ever. I don't know. They tried. It just didn't work for me. Maybe I just wasn't ready to listen to it. It's quite different from this Pantera, who in turn is actually different from the Pantera previous to this. Pantera before this album were actually very like 80s hair metal kind of. I haven't listened to whole albums or anything like that. I actually don't even know the names of albums, but I've listened to a few songs and they were surprisingly 80s. Anyway, getting back to this one. So, Seth lent me the Great Southern Trendkill. Like I said, I tried to listen to it. It just was not there for me. So I gave it back to him. I was like, man, it doesn't, nope, sorry. Can't get into it. And he was like, okay. Let me give you something else of theirs. Give him one more shot. Give him one more try. And then if you don't like them, we'll just move on. I was like, okay, man, one more shot. So he gave me Cowboys From Hell. Right from the beginning, sounded like a completely different band. Just phenomenal. The guitar work by Dimebag Darrell, amazing. Phil Anselmo's voice from Cowboys From Hell, completely different from his later works. Even in the next Pantera album, just completely different vocal stylings. Vinnie Paul's drums on this album, insane. There are so many spaces where in songs he actually lets like negative space work for him. Like nowadays you listen to metal, there's so many fills running through every song, just you know what I mean, just drummers always going. On this record there are seemingly basic beats that just played correctly at the right time are just amazing. Now, Rex, the bassist, I never paid attention to bass, so I can't really say much about it on this record because I still don't pay attention to it, but I'm sure it's fantastic. These songs just seemed so well crafted that there's only one standout that I'm not a huge fan of. and that is on side 2, the third track, Medicine Man. Just not my favorite, but they tried. You know, every other song on this album is just fantastic. Like, I just love it. Here's the back cover, by the way. Just, it's so good. And Phil's vocals on this, you can tell where he's kind of transitioning from the 80s vocal styling, like 80s hair metal vocal styling, to the more rough and gritty and screaming styling that he goes to eventually. But it's just a great mixture of the both. It's like all the metal bands that are coming out now, where there's one dude who sings clean vocals and then another dude who does the screaming. Phil, it's like they got that idea from Phil on this album, because he will transition to the screaming, but it's just him, you know. Just amazing. And then one song in particular, Cemetery Gates, which is the 5th song on side 1 right there. Him and Dimebag have this really great, it's probably like a 10-second spot where Dimebag will play kind of a high note on the guitar, and then Phil will match it with his voice. And they do it a couple times, and it's awesome. And I can't say enough about it. I think also at the time when this came out, maybe it might have came out earlier, I don't know, but a lot of people seemed to be going crazy over Metallica at the time, and I've never been a huge Metallica fan. The first time I heard Metallica was off the Black Album, and it, like, the whole world blew up and everybody loved it, and I never understood why I didn't like it so much. I mean, I own it, but I just didn't like it that much. I didn't think it was that great. You know, I didn't think it was anything different. And that's why I never really got into metal, I guess. But then I heard metal, and I was like, this is what Metallica would sound like if they had balls. It's fantastic. So, Brandon and I had talked earlier, a little while ago, about what was the first album you listened to that got you into heavy music, and this would be the one for me. Cowboys From Hell is just, hands down, probably my favorite metal album of all time. I can't say enough about it. It's just fantastic. From the first note to the last, amazing. Like I said, Medicine Man, probably not my favorite song, but it's like a fantasy style song. So, you know, just treading the waters of different metal genres, I guess. Kind of more along the lines of an Iron Maiden song, which I can't hate on them for. They're just trying stuff out. But so good. The whole album. I'll listen to it while I'm cutting the grass. Actually, I did the other day, like 3 days ago. I went out and cut the grass, and I was listening to this and singing along at the top of my lungs. And I'm sure the neighbors friggin' loved it. But I don't give a shit. This album is just, it brings that out in me. I have to sing along when I listen to this. So, Seth, if you're out there, thanks, bro. You know, you introduced me to metal, and I appreciate it. So, that'll be it. Cowboys From Hell by Pantera. If you haven't listened to it, do yourself a favor and do it. Just phenomenal stuff. So, on that note, I'll see you guys later. Bye.